Welcome to the Northwoods of Wisconsin. This is our permanent campsite where we have two wall tents conjoined to have one big wall tent where we have a lot of our conveniences of our permanent campsite. You may say, oh, this is glamping. Well, yes, it is. We've got chairs, we've got a TV, we've got a bed, wood stove, gun rack, hunting things. We've got a kitchen area, dinette, table, cabinets. Yeah, this tent stays up year-round due to the engineering of myself of putting a cable up and then having a giant 40 by 40 foot tarp that drapes over top like an A-frame. We have a lot of things, you have a lot of things at your camp that if you have a property, you know that, okay, these are things I need: a chainsaw, an axe, fire starter, that type of thing. I'm going to go over a handful of non-essential items that we have at our camp that make our camping experience so much more enjoyable. One being our wagon, our gorilla cart. We have, I think it's 1,500 pound capacity. We have a parking pad that's 250 feet from the camp where we pull items up the hill. We've used it for hauling wood. We've used it for hauling logs and making projects around the camp. Works really well. We stored in our shed here. I've put the rack on it. There's videos online on how to do that. That really excavates the capacity of firewood and just hauling large items in the back. I do have a bungee system with a plastic back of a old swivel chair that actually works as holding the material in so it doesn't roll out. Works really, really well. Another thing that you may not think is a post hole digger. We have done multiple projects here that we need a post hole digger for, that a shovel just is not very conducive for. Building that shed, had to dig the 4 posts just using trees. Dug a post for our TV antenna back there. Dug post for our rinse-off station over here. And just numerous other ones. Our deer hanger. There's our shower rinse-off. Our bow hanger. Just everything that you can think of. A standard, just regular post hole digger, manual post hole digger. Tremendous amount of benefit to having that at camp. Another thing is a water filtration system. We were sent one from Uzima. We have a dry camp, so what rainwater we do collect, we filter. We do have a bog down on the bottom end of the property. It does have tannin in it, which is safe to consume, but does have a aftertaste and makes the water more of a brown color. That does not get removed from filtering. There is ways of filtering that, but it's a very complicated method. But when we get rainwater or we use that water down there, the tannin water, we will filter it and utilize it for our rinse-off area when we take rinse-off showers up here. A very good investment, whether we're using it for rinse-off or drinking. Another item is our propane heater. Now, this is a unit in which we purchase. It runs off a 20-pound cylinder. We have a hot tent. We've got a wood stove in the tent. However, no matter how quickly you fire that thing up or how many twigs you put in there and all that, it takes time to get the ambient temperature warmed up, especially if it's 25, 15, 20, 25, 30 degrees in there. So we turn the propane heater on just to get our hands warm, just to put a little heat in the air in order to sustain for a few minutes until we get the stove going. Also beneficially, when I'm coming off the tree stand late in the fall, the stove is typically off or has went out. So I'll fire that up, get my hands mobile again in order to get the fire going, and then kind of hover around that heater until the heat starts radiating out of the the wood stove. Works really well. And when we overwintered the tent, I had the tarp over top of it so the chimney was taken down. In December, a week before we shut camp down, that was muzzleloader season, and it was 5 degrees for a low. I didn't have a wood stove, so I ran that propane heater all night long. I do have a CO2 monitor, and at chest level, it kept the temperature in the tent at about 40 degrees. I was in a sleeping bag comfortable, with a heating pad comfortable. On high, that will run for 16 hours. On medium, 32 hours, and on low, 64 hours before that 20-pound propane tank runs out. I think those numbers are a little fuzzy, but another item that has really kind of paid for itself very, very quickly is the hand chainsaw that we got from Harbor Freight. We had purchased a drill a year ago, our first year on the property, that came with a battery, and then the hand chainsaw, 5-inch chainsaw, brushless. We looked at reviews online from Amazon, just didn't trust many of those brands, off-brands, so we went to Harbor Freight. It has paid for itself. I can take that anywhere, and I got it mainly so when I hang tree stands, I don't have to have a handsaw or try to take a chainsaw up steps and try to trim limbs. But around here, if I'm cutting limbs for a little project or trying to get them to fit in the campfire or whatever, just boom, 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 works really well. And to charge that battery, it takes about an hour to do so, and takes very little power out of our power station. So really well worth the money in which we invested in that handheld electric chainsaw, to the mobility, the ease of access, not having to get the big chainsaw out to do a simple little job here or there, and I can just take it and boom, I'm done. These are just some of the essential, non-essential items that we have at our camp that has very much benefited and enabled more enjoyment of our camp when we visit it on a regular basis.